Hey guys, what's up? Pitmarthroy here, and welcome to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, we went through the Gerudo training ground and picked up the very useless ice arrows. Hopefully I'll remember to show those off later in the episode. But in this episode, I figured before we headed off into Ganondorf's tower, there's just a few things I want to show off, and by a few I mean only two. Right here we are in the Magic Hag shop. This is where we delivered the mushroom to whenever we were doing the Big Goron side quest. In order to get here, you just go into the potion shop that's in Kakariko and then go through the back side of it, and then you can reach this area. But whenever you talk to her and you're not presenting the mushroom, you can actually buy the quote-unquote ultimate potion for 100 rupees, and that would be the blue potion. You can drink this with C to recover your life energy and your magic power. So, what I have currently set in my inventory for bottles, even though you're not going to need all this, is a blue potion and 3 fairies. The blue potion is primarily just because of, or is solely because of the magic, really. So if you want to go with the green one, that's fine as well. The green ones can be sold at the regular shop for less, probably, not that rupees matter. So the added effect of getting all your hearts back is just a bonus. So the blue potion will restore all of your hearts, though. Remember, fairies don't restore all your hearts, but obviously the fairies will kick in if I do manage to lose all my hearts, and the blue potion will not, so... If you're feeling very uncomfortable, what I would recommend entirely, to have it very balanced, would be have 2 fairies, a green potion, and a blue potion, or 2 fairies and 2 blue potions. It all depends on, really, if you think you're going to use up more magic, or if you're going to be in more trouble health-wise. If you're in more trouble health-wise, then go for blue potion primarily, and a couple fairies. If you feel like you're going to be in trouble magic-wise, then you want green and blue potions. So, the second thing that I wanted to show is, despite never doing this at any point before, whenever I was picking up, or when I was getting back to full life because I wasn't quite there in the last episode, if you play Zelda's Lullaby in front of a gossip stone, then they will spawn fairies for you, and you can use them or catch them like any other fairy. So, just a little side note that if you need a fairy, that's a very quick way to obtain one. So, with that all being said and done, let's actually head into Ganon's castle. This will probably be 2 videos. One will be going through the dungeon, because the dungeon itself is surprisingly short, and then the last video will be boss and credits. We're just gonna play it by ear, see how long it takes. It should not take incredibly long, so the final video might be a little bit long, if for no other reason than for the credits, but you know, we'll see. So welcome to inside Ganon's castle. I'm going to ignore the Beamos because there's no reason to fight them. And welcome to your first quote-unquote puzzle of the area. As you can see, there are several little spires of light that are connected to this one thing that's blocking the door, and each one of them corresponds to a different temple. There you got forest, water, light, spirit, shadow, and fire back there. They're behind this pillar. You can't see them. But the first thing I wanted to show off before going into any of these is I'm going to jump down here and use the Lens of Truth. And if you jump down pretty much directly from where you were, going in here, you can use the Lens of Truth, and there's actually a secret passage back here, which this is known as the quote-unquote secret shop. It's a scrub shop is what it is. It's got a bunch of fairies back here if you need them, and Deku Scrub's selling different things. So if you want to buy anything for whatever reason you weren't stocked up going into this, then this would be your opportunity to do so. And that doesn't work on it, huh? Anything else I could use that might work? I guess not. Oh, I'll bet I know why. I bet it's because it's the mirror shield, not the Hylian shield. Yep, that's totally what it was. That's really stupid, but okay. So this one sells a red potion for 40 rupees if you want it. This one sells arrows. 30 arrows for 70 rupees. This one sells bombs, 5 for 40 rupees. That's not a fair deal at all, and I accidentally hit that to choose it, but whatever. Rupees aren't going to matter now. Come on. And lastly, green potion, I'm going to guess? A green potion for 40 rupees. No way. And then there's, of course, like I said, fairies everywhere right here, as you can clearly see. So if you've ever heard about the quote-unquote secret shop in Ganon's castle, that's what it is. It's not like an actual shop like you would see in like Zora's Domain or anything like that. So we have different barriers here, and each barrier requires that you use items that you found in that temple in order to progress. The first one that you want to go through, however, is the Shadow Temple one, and you'll see why when we get in there, because the dungeon item is actually in this one. So primarily you're going to be using the Lens of Truth, but you're also going to need fire arrows as well, which aren't really part of the Shadow Temple, but you get them after the Water Temple, so the next temple you would be using them in would be Shadow. So we're going to go ahead and light that torch up. And these are timed, so you can't drag your feet entirely here. Jump across the platforms that show up. Wait for the Leg to stop trying to eat me, and then kill him. Okay, there's that. I'm going to switch back and shoot another fire arrow, because likely you ran out of time. I would recommend getting rid of the Leg, so go ahead and shoot another fire arrow at the same torch. Jump across here. These blocks actually aren't made of ice, by the way. They don't have ice physics like you would think they do. They don't. So, they look like they do, but they do not. No ice physics to them. And step on that to make a chest up here, and let's grab the long shot. Get back up there. And go around the treasure chest. There you go. And then open it up for our dungeon item. That's right, that's where the dungeon item is. Very, very easy to find. And it is the Gold Gauntlets. That's right, you can feel even more power coursing through your arms. Grab with A and lift stuff up. Now, we've seen the pillars that the Silver Gauntlets have used, and by the way, you're going to need the Lens of Truth here while I'm walking across this in order to see where it is. We've seen the Silver Gauntlets, and you can lift, or you can push those pillars like we saw in the Spirit Temple, and in addition to that, you can also use... Yeah, I'm not going to take that other path, I'm just going to cheat and jump across here. Which isn't really cheating, since it's very viable and it's not a glitch or anything. And then from there, I'm just going to long shot on this torch and say screw it to the rest of the puzzle. And there we go. I already forgot what I was talking about. Oh, right, the Silver Gauntlets. They can push the things like we saw in the Spirit Temple, and you can also lift the silver boulders like we saw in Hyrule Field when I got one of the Poes. But the gold ones are used for even larger pillars of granite, which we will see very shortly, since they're going to be used here. Now, each time that you clear one of these areas, you're going to see this little pillar right here that has this orange ball in it. In order to dispel the correct barrier, or the barrier that's according to that, you're going to have to fire a light arrow at it. They will always have pots with magic and arrows, so you will always have, you know, the necessary supplies in order to do that. And whenever you do, you'll see an image of whatever sage corresponds to that barrier, telling you essentially to hurry up or save the princess, save Hyrule, something like that. And then it will take you right back out here, in front of the door, and it will dispel whatever barrier, you know, is corresponding with that. And that's how the barriers work. So, now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and, well... Yeah, I'll go ahead and head back out there. I'll go ahead and also reveal this pillar, or the light area right here. You can't do the light one until you've done the shadow one, because you need the gold gauntlets for this. That's pretty impressive, and also very lucky that it didn't land on top of him and crush him, but, you know, whatever. So if you saw that earlier and wondering how do you get through it, that's how. You need the gold gauntlets for that, so... None of these other things are going to have items in them, with the exception of the light one, because the light one has a few keys that are only used in the light area, so you don't have to worry about that. And I think that's also where the map and compass are, but I don't exactly remember on that. You don't really need the map and compass. This dungeon is surprisingly linear. Let me switch back to the mirror shield here. Even though you don't need it for the rest of the game, you only needed it for that, you know, a few segments in the Spirit Temple. I don't think you need it in Ganon's Tower. Now, the reason I'm heading back out here is because we actually have one more Stray Fairy, or not Stray Fairy, Majora's Mask. We have one more fairy upgrade. This is the silver boulder that the Silver Gauntlets could pick up, and then you can throw it like you would, you know, any other throwable object that you would pick up, like a bomb or something. But once you've got the gold gauntlets, you can exit Ganon's Tower and go back here to around where the fairy that gave us Din's Fire was as a kid. Break open that passageway, and here we go. For a second there, I forgot why I had the Megaton hammer on, but that one switch at the very end of the shadow area was a rusty switch, so you had to use it there. Really, the only kind of a difficult barrier to get through, at least whenever I first played it, was the forest one, actually. The shadow one I could see being a bit annoying, though, because if you fall into the pit, it is going to warp you back to the start of the room, so don't be surprised by that. I'm going to enhance your defensive power. Receive it now. And this is easily the best upgrade that you'll get overall, I would say, except for maybe the double magic, and there's a reason they give it to you so late in the game. In Majora's Mask, you get it early enough to where it's useful, but not super early. Your defensive power is enhanced. Basically, you have half defense or double health, whatever you want to call it. So it gets reduced by half. So if one of the Iron Knuckles hit you, normally they did 4 hearts worth of damage, now it only do 2, so things will do much less than they used to now. Which, like I said, makes sense why they'd put it at the end of the game, since, you know, we went essentially from having 20 hearts to 40, and that's, to be honest, you really don't need this upgrade, but since I'm showing everything, aside from the Skulltulas, you know, I might as well. So now that that's taken care of, let's go back into Ganon's Tower and finish this once and for all. At least that sidetrack was only one I could get from actually starting it, as opposed to where I got sidetracked multiple times in trying to get to the training ground. Alright, so with that being done, we can pretty much go anywhere we want, so let's start with Spirit, because it's right here. Okay, so this is clearly a collecting all the silver rupees type thing. So let's grab out some bombs and this. So I'm willing to bet. Yep, there's the target up there. I didn't think that would actually get me. I figured it would go away before then. See, a lot of these are hidden by the little gears, and you can, if you wanted to, you could push the statues out of the way and, you know, not get hit by these things, or you could just accept the hit and run through them. Kind of up to you. That one was unfair because I was stuck in a cutscene, but whatever. Some fire slugs in here, not a big deal. Thank you for those. Now let's go ahead and spin attack this. And this first one will drop a treasure chest, and you actually are going to need these now, so in case you don't have them, pick them up. Because it's bomb chews! That's right, you're actually going to get to see a bomb chew be put to real use. I think this is the only time in the game you actually need to use these. Because it goes up the little grating right there, and then down, and then hits the switch, assuming you don't miss. Let me get lined up a little bit better. That should do it. That's the only time in the game you need to use them as an actual item. I'm not counting the bomb chew bowling. And we'll head in here. Is there any enemy in here yet? No, there's not. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch to fire arrows. The only reason I say that is because I know a wall master will show up whenever I open this. At least I'm pretty sure he will. No, don't do that. No, I guess it won't. I guess it's only when you pick the incorrect sunblock. The correct one is the one that's over here. But I was going to go ahead and show you what happens if you pick the incorrect one, and that one will drop a wall master. I think all of the incorrect ones actually drop wall masters, except for the one that actually is right, and that should be... Put it away. Thank you. That. No, it's not. Okay. Is it that one? Well, I guess I'll have to wait and find out. Goodbye, Mr. Wallmaster. I'll take your rupees, because I can. Ah, that's the right one. Okay. I kind of want to see what the Wallmaster looks like while it's descending on you, so... Okay. Oh, now it shows up. Well, fine, I'm just gonna ignore you now. Play hard to get, why don't you? Deku Nuts, yeah, that's totally useful, and magic. Deku Nut, oh boy! Must be the luckiest person alive. I like how the arrow's still there. I actually had one time where, I don't remember what stage it was, I think it was Darunia in the fire barrier. At the angle that I shot the arrow, whenever this cutscene appeared where he showed up, it looked like the arrow was sticking out of his eye, and it was really funny. That was back in the days before I started recording, because believe me, I wish I had taken a picture or a screen cap of that. It would have been really funny to have that, but oh well. I'm sure somebody's probably managed it at some point. Okay, let's go to Forest. Since I said this one was pretty bad, let's just go ahead and show it off now. First and foremost, Wolfos. And I think this is just 5 rupees. It's 5 rupees or it's a trap. It's one of the two. Yep, it's 5 rupees. Okay. And then you'll need fire arrows and Din's fire for this one. Let's go ahead and get these 4 torches. And then get the one up here just above the door that we need to go through, and that will open the door. And don't get stuck on the chest. That's also a very good idea. This is the room that's kind of annoying. So another silver rupee collecting. You have to switch quite a bit between hover boots, iron boots, and normal boots, or Kokiri boots. You kind of just have to figure... This one took me a long time, primarily just trying to figure out what would work where, if anything. No, don't fall off. I wanted you to throw a bomb. Because you do not want that guy firing at you while you're trying to go through this. We'll come back for that one that was above my head in a second. And the reason being, is because when I stepped on that switch, it caused this to appear. That's why I waited. Now you can pick it up. Let's drop right here. Go over here. It looks like he won't grab it, but he will. Then when you get to right here, what you want to do is switch to the iron boots to prevent the wind from sending you anywhere, because the last one's right there. And then when it really starts get up to the highest speed, then switch to hover boots and it will fly you over. And then you also have to make it back without falling off as well, so wherever you are in the room when you pick up the last one, just go ahead and hookshot over to this, because you should be able to reach it regardless of where you are. And then just take the same path right here. This one is very, very easy to fall into a pit and restart the whole room, so... Like that one area in the training ground where, you know, you had to cross the sea of fire and collect the rupees. It's kind of like that. It's very, very easy to, you know, have the room restart because you mess up. It's very easy to mess up that room. Also note that the light arrows do actually consume more magic than the fire or ice arrows. The fire and ice ones are both 2, the light ones are 4. The forest barrier is dispelled. Is it gonna look like... Nah, it doesn't look like it's stuck on her anywhere. I thought it might for a second, but no. That's alright though. Alright, so that's Shadow, Spirit, and Forest. That leaves Fire, Water, and Light. Okay, we'll do Water next. The Water one's actually not very bad. You think it would be like a lot of the Iron Boot stuff. It's actually not. It's mostly ice, I think. Yeah. It does require blue fire, though. I don't remember that, but okay. I don't mind using up a fairy. That's fine. I'm not going to use up more than one, though. I'll just stick with one bottle. I don't think you need that much blue fire in this. There's a dude right there, though. I see him. Oh, come on, really? I so had you. Okay, that opens the door behind it. I'm going to assume that I need more blue fire, but I'm not 100% certain you do. I don't think you actually do. Wow, look at that frame rate drop. That's not on the capture card. That's on my game, by the way. I don't trust either of those treasure chests. I know there's no keys in here, so it's either going to be a small rupee amount some restock like arrows, or it's going to be a trap, so I'm not going to bother with it. So right here we have a couple of stone blocks. You just have to push these in the right spots. So just go ahead and drop this one in here, because it is supposed to go here, because this will, you know, make it to where you can actually get to up there. So you'll have to... What is the easiest way to do this? That might actually be wrong. I'm going to reset the room. Maybe you do. Maybe it does matter what block you use. It probably, yeah, I think it does, because then you'll push this one in here. I was about to say, being able to accomplish one task in a block puzzle in one move doesn't seem right, so this makes a lot more sense. If you want to open that pot, there is a fairy inside of it, but I'm going to wait until I use up the blue fire and then go back and get the fairy. So they were nice enough of you, if you didn't know about the secret shop, they were nice enough to actually give you the fairy back, or, you know, I guess they'll assume you used up a fairy. Whatever you used up, you'll at least get a fairy back. And I'm pretty sure that switch was rusted a second ago, so... Yes, it was. Good guess. Or either one. I don't know why there's a timer in this room. I've not figured it out, because there's no... The only time you ever see timers is when you're running out of time, really, are... Like in the training ground where there's supposed to be a timer, the lava areas where it's too hot to, you know, be able to stay in there without the tunic, or when you're underwater and you're choking because you don't have the Zora tunic. So I really don't know why there is a timer in here. Get back here, you. Look at that beautiful slide. That was wonderful. Alright, so with that taken care of, let's head in here. I thought that missed for a second, and it actually didn't. Cool. Well, there's an arrow pointing at her boob, but eh. I think it's because I shot it from the side, if I remember correctly. Like, I was messing around in the room or something like that, just trying to see what all possible angles I could get were, but I know I didn't, like, you know, shoot it from the front like I have been. It's not like it matters, I was just trying to do something stupid. Okay, that's shadow, that's fire. So we have fire and light left, so they're both over there. Okay. I think this actually just cuts off to dead ends, so I might actually have to loop back around. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. We can just do fire from here then. You are gonna, well, I don't think you need the fire tunic, but you are gonna have the issue of it's too hot in here. We can't stay in here for that long, so if you feel like it's pressuring you, then put the fire tunic back on. This is one that gave me a few problems, but mostly just because it's kind of weird. As you can see, the platform will gradually sink into the lava as you go along. Yeah, I figured it was gonna try to penalize me for that. So if you stay on that platform for too long, obviously, then you're going to fall into lava, and it's like if you fell into a pit, it's going to reset, so you want to avoid that happening, because if you reset the room, then all the rupees are going to reset as well. Kind of like that. I expected him to grab on, well, not grab onto the side, but I expected him to make that jump, and he didn't. You can cut corners like that in order to make the platform come back up a little bit, in case you're feeling really nervous about it. That's what I'm used to doing. And you are going to need the gold gauntlets for this room as well, so make sure you have them for fire and light. Conveniently enough, those were the last two that I picked, but I wasn't going in any specific order. That just so happened to be how it turned out, but, you know, either way. Because not only does it reveal this one, but it also makes the pathway to get two of the other ones, so you do need it. It's like a solitary fire slug here, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not standing on that, sorry. Now, I don't recall if you can get this target from here. No, you cannot. Okay. Yeah, I know was pretty sure they designed it like this on purpose. You have to stand on this and make this shot very carefully while it's going down. Because I tried to do it from there, but I was out of reach for it, so I kind of figured they were going to force you to be put into that situation. For the heart, I appreciate that. So that's number 5. Well, that one was kind of just weird. Looked like it was stuck in his hip. He is the bulkiest of the characters, so if any would look like it would be stuck inside of him, it would probably be Darunia, so makes sense. I guess it might for Raru. He's pretty big, too. He's a pretty fat guy. And we're at 25 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and get all the barriers done. And then we'll take on the rest of the tower probably next time. This isn't incredibly bad. There's a few things here. This is just a Skulltula. I'll kill it with a light arrow. I'll kill the bat with an ice arrow, because I haven't shown that off yet. Because that's just a bat sitting there. We'll use this. See, it's a bat. And here's the ice arrow. Remember, I can't do that while I've got the Lens of Truth on, so... So yeah, it freezes the enemy and, you know, prevents them from moving or whatever, you know, anything like that. Now, none of these chests that you're seeing right here, none of these have the key that you might think you need to progress. The real key is actually from killing all the enemies. All the other ones are going to have arrows, 5 rupees, or they're going to be traps. This is the only real key in here. So... It's a good idea, though. Would have liked to see it in an earlier dungeon where you might have actually fallen for it, but whatever. This room, I really do not understand in the slightest. All you have to do here is play Zelda's Lullaby, and then the treasure chest with the key shows up. I don't know why they thought this room was necessary, but they did, and so they put it in. But yeah, very interesting choice. I don't know why they did that. Because there's no tricks to it. The key's just sitting here. That's all this is. Apparently they thought you hadn't played Zelda's Lullaby enough. And last we have a 1-minute timer while going through this area and picking up the silver rupees again. The camera does change around a little bit like it did in the Spirit Temple, so yeah, you're going to have to get used to it or, you know, deal with it as best you can. I think I might have missed one right here. Oh no, this is just a pot. Oh, what was in it? Oh, arrows? I'll take arrows. And then the last one, just hookshot to the top of this and grab this. For whatever reason, the timer keeps going right there, but that's plenty of time. And this is also the only barrier that gives you a fake out, because there's actually a wall master if you hang around in here. They'll try to grab you, but the real one you actually walk through there, because it's a fake, obviously. So if you use the Lens of Truth, you would see it immediately, but the light one is the only one that does that, so... How fitting that the light one would be the trick. You think it would be like the shadow one or something like that. But no, it's the light barrier. I don't even see the arrow anymore. That one seems to have just vanished into thin air. Oh well. And if you listen to the sound that the big barrier makes in this room, as you start dispelling the barriers, it starts to sound weaker. You know, like the noise starts getting deeper and lower. And it starts to slow down, so it's kind of a sign that it's getting weaker, and you can see it getting weaker because the flames aren't as, you know, brightly colored, and there's not as many of them. And then once you take care of all of them, then it flat out just dispels for you. And that's pretty much the majority of the dungeon, minus the boss fights. Most of it's just ascending to the top of the tower, but it's pretty easy to do, and it's very linear, so... Though, we could do that right now. I think we'll save it for next time. Next time might be the finale video. It might not be. I'm not entirely certain how long it will take to get to the top. But it probably will run long regardless just for the credits. So, I mean, we'll see how it moves out. So, thank you guys for watching. This has been Pitmarth with mostly Ganon's Tower with a little bit of other side things I wanted to show. But I will see you guys next time when we continue to the top to find Ganondorf. See you guys then.